One percenters, welcome back. Coach Tom here today to talk to you about frequency versus intensity. Now, when it comes to sport, I break it down into the triangle: mind, body, craft. For basketball, you got to study the game, the reads, the defensive, the offensive schemes, things like that. For your mind, for your body, you have to weight train, whether it's strength training, bodybuilding, explosive stuff, plyometrics. Core work, Pilates, yoga, all these things that can be beneficial to your development as an athlete. And then the craft, the skill stuff, the dribble types, the manipulations, the shooting, the footwork, these are all skill things. So when you combine all of that stuff together, you have to figure out the right balance for you in frequency and intensity. Are you going to practice once a day? Are you going to practice twice a day, 3 times a day? Are you going to practice for 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours? And in that time that you're actually practicing, what is the level of intensity? Are you going 100%? I know coaches and trainers that will say go hard every single time and do everything 100%, 110%. And that can work. And then you have other coaches are on the other end of the spectrum that want you to really just practice very, very frequently and practice for long periods of time. This is more common in like karate, jiu-jitsu, MMA, things like jiu-jitsu where you're just rolling around and sparring and grappling with another opponent all day long. Very, very common in Brazil. So as a sport, you have to figure out what's your frequency and your intensity. Basketball can come with different frequency and intensity. Tennis can come with a different level. But it all comes down to you and what level athlete you are and what plan that you are on. So as a coach, when I take on an individual person or a team, I want to have as much control over that unit as possible. I want to know what kind of stresses are on my player, where they have finals coming up, if they got midterms, if they got a lot of homework, are they doing a lot of chores, other extracurricular activities? What kind of demands can I put on them to succeed the most within my constraints? So can we practice 1 hour a day, 2 hours a day, 3-hour blocks, 4-hour blocks? What kind of productivity or progress can I get in a 1-hour block? If I stretch it to 2-hour practices, does my progression degrade? Can I stretch it to 3 hours? At what point do I start losing these players? Like they'll either physically be dead from a previous practice, maybe a workout session or something like that, and they won't be able to go as hard. Or do I start losing them at 3 hours? And sometimes they're really, amped up and ready to go because they're excited, so they can play for 5-6 hours, no problem. It's really a matter of you as an individual figuring out your balance and starting to really pay attention and listen to your body. If you go too hard, full intensity, 100% all the time, you're going to hit a wall, you're going to hit a plateau, or you're going to get injured. If you go too light on your intensity and you just go frequently all the time, you won't really notice any gains because you're not challenging yourself enough in terms of intensity. There's not enough stress, there's not enough demand. So it's a very, very tricky question to answer. A lot of people want to know my workouts and my routines, and they just want the plan, and they want 10 sets, 3 sets, 5 sets, the weights that I'm doing. But it doesn't work for everybody because I've been working out literally every single day for the past 3 to 5 years. I have a calendar where I write down the workout that I did, the organization, whether it was like upper body, lower body, plyometrics, elastic. Every single day is different because I'm programmed differently. I have a health goal, a fitness goal that I still want to play basketball and be able to train and show and demonstrate to my players. I'm not looking to get massive like when I was younger and just hitting big weights. I'm not looking to be super explosive as I was before. It's more about keeping a balance of not being injured, being able to perform, being able to play a little bit, and still being able to do my day-to-day, go around, train people, sit at a desk all day, edit videos, look at the stock market, things like that. Younger players or professional athletes, you have a different schedule, different demands. You have more times to rest. Professional athletes or college athletes, you have designed recoveries, so Normatec, air compression and things like that, ice baths, people wrapping up your knees in ice. You have the hyperbaric chamber for pro athletes. You have all sorts of things that can help you recover that are at your disposal, that are not there for the average individual. So it really depends. So if you're looking for a coach or someone and they don't account for the whole picture, then they're not the coach for you. You have to find someone that really cares about your whole being, like what you're eating. They have to be concerned about what you're eating. They got to be concerned about your movement quality. Are you stretching? Are you mobile? Do your hips move? Do your ankles move? They have to be concerned about what your goal is. Are you looking for size? Are you looking for speed? Are you looking for conditioning? Are you just looking for a 15-day, 21-day fat loss, shredding for a bikini show? If you're a girl or if you're a guy, if you're bodybuilding and you're preparing for a show. So all these things have to matter. And the bigger your outlook on your goal, the longer that time frame, the better that coach will be. Now I can gear certain programs to be 21 days, 30 days, and really just ignore all of that other stuff because you're in a short sprint to a specific goal. But if we're talking about an athlete that I'm going to get from basically 5 years old, some I'm getting as early as 4 years old, all the way up through high school and beyond, if they're going to college or still working with me after they're out of high school, I'm really factoring in that I'm going to be with this athlete for 14 to 20 years or maybe longer. I've been training athletes, the same athletes, for 10. The longest athlete that I have been training has been for over a decade now. So I really have to factor in their development, their strength, their movement quality, and their age, and the different demands that come with different ages. So when they're in elementary school or even before that, preschool and stuff like that, going through middle school, high school, and then into college, the demands and the build of that body, the nutrition of that body is completely different. So frequency versus intensity, you cannot have both. You cannot go 100% frequency, working out 3, 4, 5 times a day with 1,100% intensity. It just doesn't work. Right now the CrossFit Games are on. Matt Fraser keeps killing everybody, and I guarantee you that all his workouts are not 100% intensity. He has to frequently program, so he's probably working out 3 times a day, different levels of intensity at each, and then he's programming breaks and recovery, and then on days where he's going near 100%, 90, 95, 100%, I guarantee you that he's not doing multiple workouts in short periods of time. Now, you're not a CrossFit athlete if you're following me, most likely. But if you're a basketball athlete, keep in mind that you have skill work, you have shooting, you have team practice, you might have individual practice, and then you have strength and conditioning. And then you probably, if you're lucky, you have a coach that's giving you some film to look over or some game plans or playbooks. All of that has to be considered within your day-to-day life schedule, school schedule, family schedule, and all that. So find the right coach that's for you, that's understanding all of these principles that they have to balance for frequency, intensity, and don't just go kill yourself for a coach that doesn't understand, whether he's just telling you go hard on every single play, not knowing that you have another coach over here that's teaching you shooting, or you have another strength conditioning after, and you're just going to beat yourself down to the floor, and you're going to be, again, one of these young teenagers, just tearing up their ACLs or busting a hip, or having these really bad, severe injuries at a very young age. All right, that's all I got. Hopefully this helps you guys kind of round out your workouts and your life and your body as an athlete. That's all I got. Remember to take 14 minutes, 24 seconds, or 1% of your day to get better.